Everyone hates him because they didn't watch him at Duke. And they're experts, even though they never watched him play a game. Everyone hated him. He's good. I'm not saying he's great. He's good.
On today's Top Shelf Tuesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and the OCP team of correspondents recap NFL Week 7, share their thoughts on the San Francisco 49ers big trade moves, review Dr. Adams' strictly for entertainment purposes only picks, as well as previewing Week 8 of the NFL season. Welcome to today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and my tag team partner, as Captain Cotton will say, is doing work right now. Academics first. But again, with us is our cavalcade of stars, starting with the captain himself, Will Cotton. Will, how are you, sir?
Going great. That's Sunday. Yeah. Let's go.
All right, and the happiest man every week, Mike King, how are you?
Enjoy it while it lasts.
And Chris Shaw, our Raiders winner. How are you?
I am so happy today. Go Raiders.
Well, it is about time, but that is okay. In segment 1, my games of interest and the random thoughts that I have. Segment 2, we tag off to the team correspondents. And in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. I was more entertained this week than last week, but still not as entertained as I want to be. So let me jump into my games of interest. 1, Green Bay versus Washington. 3 quick points. 1, Aaron Rodgers did this to himself, and those receivers are bad. Oh my goodness. 2, Washington is not good at all. And 3, as I like to say, it rarely ends well for any of us in terms of athletics. Will, did you check out the game? And if so, what thoughts did you have about Green Bay versus Washington?
It was ugly. It wasn't really hard to sit there and watch. I probably red zoned that one. Let's remember that Heineke did strip sack. That was ran all the way back for a touchdown. So, it could be way different, right now in terms of record and everything like that. But it was ugly. Aaron Rodgers. I hope he gets all the smoke from all the media. Tell him just stay calm and all that stuff. Like, he kind of, like you said, he did this for himself. So.
All right. So my second game of interest was Tampa Bay versus Carolina. I'm still on that. What in the name of Leroy and Dewey Selman is going on with the Bucs? They may have to win their division just to get into the playoffs. And again, it rarely ends well. Chris, can you help me out with Tampa Bay? What in the name of John Robinson is happening down in South Florida?
Mom is not happy. Okay, so then Tom is all over the place. No focus. He hasn't been focused all year, and it's just getting worse for him. He had a horrible game.
Yes, and my last game of interest, and Mike, get ready to jump in. I did pick the Giants, and I'll talk about it a little more in segment 3, because they were the underdogs to Jacksonville. Mike, they still don't believe in you. Can you share your thoughts, man?
I mean, it was a game where we lost 2 offensive linemen and the starting tight end, so a lot of the blocking early. And Saquon wasn't great until the second half, and Daniel Jones, like he's done a lot of the year, kept him afloat. And when he had to make the play, made the play. I think he's the first Giants quarterback in their history to have 200 yards passing, 100 yards rushing. I think he outran Saquon today. Guy's good. He's good. Everyone hates him because they didn't watch him at Duke. And they're experts, even though they never watched him play a game. Everyone hated him. He's good. I'm not saying he's great. He's good.
Yes, and as I told my tag team partner, as long as I will watch football, quarterback is an overpaid and overvalued position, and get them while they're cheap. So with that, here are some random thoughts I have, and I just kind of want to get everybody's thoughts on this. San Francisco pushed their chips to the middle. The San Francisco 49ers and the Carolina Panthers completed a trade where the 49ers sent a second round, a third round, and a fourth round draft pick next season, and a fifth round selection in 2024 for Christian McCaffrey. That's what they did. And now they hope to win the Super Bowl this year. Chris, did they put too much into this? What do you think, sir?
In the short run, of course, they put too much in. But I think in the long run, I think this was a good move for San Francisco. It's just not going to pan out probably for another 4 weeks.
Okay. Well, doesn't the salary jump like next year to something ridiculous?
I think next year his contract really kicks in, so he starts making like 11 million and starts elevating until like next 3 years or something like that. So they're getting them like right now. They're getting maybe like a million, like 950, 996K. He's making the, like Chris said, 49ers are just putting all their chips in the table. They have to win. They want to win. It never works out if you get an overpaid running back. That never really seems to work out. Now we've seen, especially, and I'm kind of surprised that Shanahan did that because he's not a primary that kind of guy anyway. He's a guy that goes to 2-3 running backs, and I'm like, you just paid $33 million to this guy, and you're gonna maybe run him like 10 snaps, and you might put him in wide receiver and do all this stuff. And I think they're gonna I think they overthought it. I think they should have gotten the team they had. I should have gotten healthy. And if they were going to make any trades for draft capital, beef up the depth, beef up the depth. You know what I'm saying? Get the O-line better, get the defense stronger. Try and get some like an aging DN they can like just pass rush. Don't have no responsibility, just run. We just chase after that dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I hope it pans out. You know what I'm saying? But not a move I would have made.
All right. So my second thing, and Mike, I want you to respond to this because you have Saquon Barkley on your team. The NFL stands for not for long. Running back Todd Gurley, age 28, is done playing football. He was drafted by the Rams in 2015 as the number 10 overall pick. The running back last played in 2020 for the Atlanta Falcons. He rushed for 678 yards in his 6 seasons. That's it. He was named All-Pro twice, Pro Bowl 3 times, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Finishes his career with 6,000 yards. Mike, does Todd Gurley's career make you nervous for Saquon?
I'd say yeah, because Todd Gurley's career, it was injuries, right? And Saquon's had his injuries. Now, and the reason I wouldn't go for C-Mac, took Saquon a few years to get through to look like Saquon again after the knee injury. And Saquon's a freak. So it took him a couple of years. Adrian Peterson is the only person I could think of at that position that comes back from that injury that quick, that strong. If Saquon can't do it, any running back is one injury away. We saw it in the other New York team. Breece Hall gets hurt.
Yeah. Do you know what that injury was? I did see that he got carted off.
Torn ACLs. Well, I just got a notification.
Okay. Yeah, not for long. So the last thing, and Will, this is for you because you played for me. Sideline arguments. The Arizona Cardinals got themselves a win on Thursday, but everybody wanted to talk about the heated exchange between Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. Kyler Murray could clearly be seen saying to calm the blank down to his coach. Will, is this a big deal, a little deal, or no deal?
No, not at all. I think it was. I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on what's going on with Kyler and coach. But nobody noticed that DeAndre was right over there, had his arm over Kyler, brought him over here, started talking to him, and cooled him down. I mean, hey, it happens, man. No kind of relationship you have, whether it's sports, marriage, colleagues at work, like you guys, if you want to win and you want to like succeed, you're going to have back and forths. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we're not going to be, ready to fight somebody or things like that. But things can get kind of heated if you have a stance and someone's like, no, I want to do this. And you're like, no, I believe this other way. But the good thing that happened is, DeAndre Hopkins, the guy gets a terrible rap all the time. I don't know why. Did the best thing, great teammate, came it, grabbed Kyler, talked to him, they calmed down, it didn't implode. They were to move forward. So they have a good vet team, man. JJ Watt, DeAndre, they have some other guys. They should be able to hold it down in the locker room. So, nothing to worry about, in my opinion.
All right. And fans, after our blow up in the locker room, I think we won like 8 straight. So that's kind of why I asked Will that. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, come back, tag into the correspondents, see what's going on and their views on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fallon Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. Jeff, that was for you. We still make jokes. In segment 2, our correspondents will go at it. And, hey, I want to hear from Chris. First, Chris, what's the best thing you saw today, sir?
Josh Jacobs, the Raider running back. Okay, this is the third straight game he's played where he's had over 140 yards. He had 3 touchdowns to add to it this week. The guy's just amazing. I mean, he definitely the only Raider that they didn't give a contract to.
All right.
Yeah, way to go.
Will, what's the best thing you saw today?
Man, I saw two good things. One, I saw my man Joe Burrow, lit him up. Finally, I think the game everybody was waiting. I think the offense everybody was waiting for. Man, he just blew up, man. And I think that was the best of the day. But then
was
also
that game in Atlanta, by the way? Was that game in Atlanta?
That game was in Cincinnati.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and the second one, man, the Jets, man. Like, whew, I love their coach. Their team is tough, man. They could have folded when Breece Hall went down and tore his ACL. Wow. They did, man. They kept fighting, and it was like a seven. It's a touchdown win. So, that was tough, man. And I know they're super happy for that team, and they've been laughed on for a long time. Butt fumble, all that stuff, BS. But good for them, man. Good coach, good team, good discipline. I like that. So that was my day.
Mike, the best thing you saw, sir.
Well, that Jets team's got to figure it out without 120 yards from the quarterback. I don't know how sustainable that is. But the best thing I saw is also probably not sustainable, and that's the Giants. Tackling a guy on the 1-yard line with no time left. That was the Fabian Moreau. Anyone ever heard of him?
Great tackle. Great tackle. I'll take it.
Then everyone flies to the ball and make sure he doesn't get there. That was the best thing I saw.
Okay. All right, I'm going to stay with you, Mike. What was today's biggest surprise for you today, Mike? What's the biggest surprise for you?
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady losing to quarterbacks who, again, their families probably never heard of them until today. So, yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. Chris, what about you? What's your biggest surprise today?
I agree with that. It's, Carolina beating up on Tampa Bay, Washington beating up on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it was like combine those guys, those teams. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady had to punt like 11 times. The teams had to punt 11 times combined. They were 2 of like 18 for third down. I mean, these guys were not producing. So that was the biggest surprise to me, is just how poorly that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady actually played today.
All right. Cotton Man, what about you? What was your biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise is the Seahawks keep winning. For me, that was the biggest thing. I think we all made jokes about them. We do our, our rankings and our preseason stuff, and we're like, they're going to be terrible. And man, they come out and they play however the team wants to play. If they want to be defense and grind it out, or if they want to shoot it out like they did today with San Diego. And that was a big win because they got Keenan Allen back too. So they thought they were going to take that next step and really didn't.
So did I.
Oh yeah. Gino is he's a product of, hey man, if you have a good coach, you can have good success in the NFL, man. So it's never like, oh, this guy sucks or he's terrible. I mean, he went from the Jets when they were terrible. Nobody could win there. But now he's with a coach who has an understanding of how to win and a system that works for him. It was like early, young Russell Wilson. It works, man. They have a good running back, a new guy, Kenneth Walker, just started to explode. The guy had 2 touchdowns today. Man, they're surprising, man. And it's always tough to win in Seattle. So let's see what they can do. They're 4-3. I think they're second in their. They should be leading. They should be leading.
Hey,
yeah.
No, remember how I said about Geno Smith? I said, hey, this is like when your computer goes down, your internet connection goes down, and the computer chooses your quarterback for you on the fantasy team, and it chose Geno Smith. Well, hell, now Seattle is my dark horse to go into the Super Bowl from the NFC.
Yeah. Slow down, Roy Rogers. Okay, we're gonna pop a break, and Will, going back to you, what was your biggest disappointment today?
Well, you had to get Mike's surprise, don't you?
Yeah.
Mike, did I get your biggest surprise, or I missed you?
No, you got my surprise.
Yes, I did. I'm not that bad. Close to it, but not that bad. Will, what's your biggest disappointment?
Oh, man, it's got to be Brady and Rodgers, man. It's just sad. Both those guys could have walked off and they could have been rich. I mean, Tom Brady could have been, a champion and walked off and walked in the sunset. And that had been a time. Even, I mean, last year wasn't that bad either. Yeah, man, it's just sad the way them go out. And it's not like something where, it's either going to cause like injury or it's just going to be a long death of like 1,000 cuts.
Special delivery show. All right. Mike, what was your biggest disappointment, sir?
There's no Bobby in here, so I'll speak for him, and it's the Commanders winning. They got to get a quarterback. Every win hurts.
Can't win in the pick.
My goodness. Chris, what about you, sir? What was your biggest disappointment?
I'm with Will on this one. It's Brady and Rodgers. The biggest disappointments, both of them. I'm surprised Brady's still playing. I mean, like, he should just just drift off into the sunset.
So, during our preseason episodes, I did say Tom Brady was like SD Jones now, because he's going to tease you, and then at the end of the match, he's going to lose. So, yeah, this is all Tom's fault. So,
but what about one more thing? Let's talk about the quarterback in Carolina. Was it PJ Walker?
PJ Walker from the XFL.
I'll tell you, it's so funny. They got these 2 bums, Darnold, and they got this other bum in Mayfield. And they send in trades, and they're sending capital, and the best quarterback they got is right in the back. Reminds me of any given Sunday. They got Stephen Willie Beeman right now. PJ Walker, baby.
Remember, they got the kid from Ole Miss, Matt Corral, and he got injured.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, they got some guys in the cheap that they can just kind of roll with.
He's hungry, and he's hungry, and the running back, Schubert Hubbard, that dude, he can run. So, and they got DJ Moore. I mean, if they don't trade him, they probably will, but they got a good squad,
Fire sale.
I'm
no
glad
coach.
Give me DJ Moore. I want DJ Moore so bad.
Mike, I'm so glad you guys just let OBJ pick up his stuff and he can leave. I'm glad you guys didn't sound like a contract or nothing when they were like, he's stopping up at the Giants facility. I'm like, he's just picking up some stuff. They left him stuff. They were like, pick this up.
All right. Mike, what should we look for next week, sir?
Well, everyone likes the Seahawks so much. I'll go Giants Seahawks. Why not? In Seattle.
In Seattle. Okay. All right. Will, what should we look for next week?
Man, to be honest with you, if guys can stay healthy, now we're getting that part of the season where, got to stay healthy.
Praying for a bye week.
Hey, the best ability is availability. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see if guys can stay healthy. Right now, we've had a lot of luck. There hasn't been a lot of, obviously today we had Brees Hall, but we've gotten pretty lucky considering, concussions, guys getting out maybe the next week. So let's see if we can guys keep healthy and keep really good, finish strong, man.
All right, Chris, close out this segment. What should we look for next week?
I don't think that Minnesota is that good. I don't think they're as good as 5-1. So I think the Arizona-Minnesota game is something to look at. And I'm going down to like the crappy teams at this point. My Vegas Raiders versus New Orleans to see whether or not the Raiders can continue that because New Orleans likes to score a lot. So let's see if the Raiders can keep up with them. And then San Francisco against the Rams. That's another divisional game. Let's see who's going to actually, crater and who's going to maybe try to hold on. And then, like Mike said, the Giants in Seattle. Seattle, that's my dark horse.
That's like
I think Niners have to
must-see TV right there.
Niners have to win. Niners have to win, or it's really going to be hard for them to get into the playoffs. Yep. So then they lost 2 in a row. They'll be 3-5. They're playing with the Rams. Guys are getting healthy in the Rams. They had a whole week off, so now they get, So it's. We'll see what happens. But yeah, watch out.
All right. So when we get back in our final segment, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only, and hopefully I can do a little bit better than I did before. We'll be right back.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast and segment 3. It's all strictly for entertainment purposes only. So here is my OCP NFL Top 5. Remember, fans, we do not include the Sunday night or Monday game. So we do update our ratings on Friday, our rankings on Friday. So 1 is still Philadelphia. They didn't lose this week. So why am I going to move them down? Of course, they didn't play, but that's okay. Buffalo was 2, and yes, they should probably be 1. Unlike Chris, I like Minnesota because Kirk Cousins has a banker who's still collecting checks. Mike, I have the Giants at 4, and Kansas City is at 5, and Kansas City should be higher, but they got too many losses. But what they did to the 49ers is criminal. On the outside looking in, I got the Jets and the Cowboys, and the funny thing, as we talked about with Tampa Bay the last segment, it looks like if this keeps going, Tampa Bay has to win their division to get into the playoffs because the NFC East keeps winning ball games. They keep winning games. So, man, you have to start winning games.
But that was the great thing. That was the great thing. If you were better next year, you played a harder schedule. If you were terrible, you played an easier schedule. Well, it's finally working for the NFL because now they're like, oh crap, we're gonna end up with some ugly, ugly teams in the playoffs
It is
because the way
working.
it's going, it's working. Yeah, and it's
Well,
great.
as long as Dallas is in there, I think the NFL is happy because Dallas is going to be polarizing enough to bring some ratings, and that's what everybody wants. So, all right. So my picks of the week. So this week I was 2-3. I had Washington plus 5.5 for my game on the spread. I had Cleveland, Baltimore over 45.5, and I believe they scored 43 points. And darn, I was hoping somebody would kick a field goal. My 2 play of the week went with the Raiders and the Chargers. And Will, as you said earlier, man, the Chargers are getting guys back, and they still couldn't get the dub. What happened?
Hey man, that's traditional.
They're the
Chargers
Chargers.
can't. The Chargers. Yeah, they can't do nothing.
So my 3 play of the week was Dallas, Tampa, and Cincinnati. The game I was worried about was the Dallas game, not Tampa Bay, after Carolina traded, their best player and the fire still starts. So I lost out on that one. My money line play of the week, shout out to Mike King, because the Giants were underdogs against Jacksonville. Look, I don't care. If you're an underdog against Jacksonville and you're 5-1 or whatever, I'm going to pick you. And it worked out for me. So, Chris, how did you do with your picks?
Oh, horrible. Okay, so I had, I said that the Bengals would not cover. They're 6.5. Okay, horrible.
They covered them with a blanket.
Oh, they sure as heck did. I said that the Colts would take over the Titans. Didn't happen. I had the Jets over the Broncos correctly. That was nice. I also had the Seahawks over the Chargers. I seem to be knowing something about the AFC West.
That is your division.
And then what happened to the 49ers? I mean, they just kind of dropped the ball on me. And the Chiefs walk all over them at the end. So it was 2 out of 5. That's not very good.
No, but hey, I don't know if you put as much as I did. 10 games. All right. So my season-long win totals. I think Pittsburgh was on a bye this week. I think.
No, they play tomorrow.
Oh, no, they play tomorrow.
They play tonight against
New England. New England.
They play tomorrow. Okay.
I thought it's tonight against the Dolphins.
Tonight against Miami.
Oh, they play Miami. Okay.
Yeah,
man, why are they playing Tua? All right, that's another story. Okay. Jacksonville lost. Buffalo. Buffalo's on a bye, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Chargers lost. I have the Chargers over 10. Minnesota, I think they're on a bye this week, or are they the Monday night game? They're on a bye.
They're a bye.
All right, we got New Orleans. I don't know what the heck I was thinking about New Orleans. Philadelphia is over 9. They got 6 wins. They're on a bye. And San Francisco, that's following, talking me into playing him when I should. So, inside jokes. Okay.
It was hard.
Week 8 buys. Only 2 teams on buys next week, Kansas City and the Chargers. And my week 8 games to watch: San Francisco versus the Rams, Chicago versus Dallas. So I got San Francisco versus the Rams because whoever loses has a heck of a hill to climb. So that's already an elimination game at the halfway point of the season almost. Dallas has to keep winning, so they're in the mix for a wild card because other teams like San Francisco and the Rams are losing. Giants and Seattle. The Giants, as Mike said maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, have bought themselves some cushion. And if they can continue to win, it puts pressure on everyone else. I got Pittsburgh versus Philly because the Giants and Dallas keep winning. And if Philly loses, now we got a 3-way tie or something ridiculous like that in the NFC East. And my dark horse game is New England versus the Jets because depending on what happens with Miami tonight, man, New England might just jump right back in the mix. So, final thoughts before I close out, starting with Will. Any final thoughts as we end this outstanding week in the NFL Week 7?
It was really boring. I ain't gonna lie. It was super boring. Last Sunday was really good, and we were all spoiled on college and on pro. And, I'm just trying to get it again with the excitement again because it was not a pretty games this week. So let's hope we get some better games next week.
Okay, Chris, what about you, sir?
I just want to say my top 5. The Bills are number 1. I say the Giants are number 2. I put the Eagles number 3. I don't care if they're undefeated.
72 Dolphins.
Yeah, and no, Kansas City 4, and it pains me to say that even. And then the Vikings 5, and the Titans are looking in from the outside. They're saying, "Hey, look at these guys." And then again, my dark horse, AFC, the Raiders. Okay, they're going to go all the way. And the NFC is Seattle. So watch Seattle against the Raiders in the Super Bowl.
That giant clicking sound you hear, our channel turning if that's the Super Bowl.
oh, come on.
Mr. King, any last thoughts?
Broken record here, but especially with coaching being so important to all of us, just seeing what Brian Dable does on a week-to-week basis, it makes me happy as I'm getting ready to coach my daughter's middle school basketball team. And tomorrow for our first practice, I get inspiration watching what Brian Dable can do and the importance of coaching.
Yes. All right. So finally, fans, I humbly say thank you to my high school, Paint Branch High School in Burtonsville, Maryland. I was fortunate enough to be inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame this past weekend, actually playing the school Mike works at. So there was a lot of commonalities, a lot of old people that we all worked together with ended up at Sherwood. I'd like to thank their athletic director, Heather Podesic, and everybody involved. I miss my high school coach, Hank Galata, and my good friend, Walter Hardy. I wish they were both there. Fans, being a high school coach is more than X's and O's. It's about helping your student athletes transition into adulthood. And I am so lucky. I get to hang out with my players. Will is one of my former players, captain for life. I saw some of my former soccer players. I have no business coaching soccer, but my AD said, I need you not to lose equipment because the head coach is going to lose equipment. And I ended up being a halfway decent soccer coach. They were former ADs there. Following and Oshawa came. So look for some future Find the Balance episodes with that. So again, thank you to PB and everybody involved in that. And on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.